What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burning Hammer, and in this video I will be going over 3 things that need to happen at WrestleMania 40. But first, if you want to watch the most recent episode of the Burning Hammer podcast, click the link up in this corner. So WrestleMania is just a few weeks away, and this WrestleMania is going to change the landscape of WWE forever. So I decided I'm going to do a video for 3 things that absolutely need to happen. So the first thing that needs to happen at WrestleMania 40 is the Bloodline needs to turn on Roman Reigns. However, I also think there just needs to be some major development in the Bloodline story. Now, the Bloodline story has been going on for many years now, and there was a time where it was the best thing going on in any form of entertainment. It was better than any TV show. It was better than any movie. It was truly the best thing going on in the entire entertainment industry. However, recently, it kind of feels like there hasn't been that much going on within the Bloodline itself. Now, that's why I think the Bloodline is going to turn on Roman, and that's why I think they need to turn on Roman at WrestleMania 40. We need some more drama within the Bloodline itself, especially with The Rock acknowledging Roman Reigns and joining the Bloodline. I think all of that is leading to the entire Bloodline turning on Roman Reigns because The Rock laid down the stipulation for WrestleMania Night 1 in the tag team match where him and Roman Reigns are taking on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. He said that if they lose, then Roman Reigns will be on his own for Night 2 of WrestleMania, but if they win, it's Bloodline rules. Anything goes for Roman versus Cody Rhodes. I think that Cody and Seth are going to pin Roman Reigns and The Rock. I don't know who's actually going to eat the pin for this. Part of me thinks that Cody could potentially pin Roman Reigns, but also part of me thinks that Seth Rollins could just randomly pin The Rock, which may be the best scenario for that. But I think after that, then The Rock is going to turn on Roman Reigns along with Jimmy Uso and along with Solo Sikoa. I think Solo Sikoa is going to play a big part in this because he hasn't been on the dominant streak that he once was for a while. I think over these past few months, he hasn't really been like the focal point, and he hasn't shown that true aggression that he once had. And I think all of that is due to The Rock because Solo Sikoa, if you remember, he was sent by the Elders. And I think that The Rock is kind of like a spokesperson for the Elders. So that's why I think that once The Rock and Roman Reigns lose the tag match, I think that Solo Sikoa is gonna Samoan spike Roman Reigns. And then I've been saying this for a while. You can go back and listen to previous episodes of the podcast. But I said that when Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns, it's going to be when Roman is all by himself. He's not going to have the Bloodline there. And then so I think that even now with this stipulation that if The Rock and Roman lose, it's just going to be Roman. And the Bloodline's not going to get involved at WrestleMania 40. That makes me feel even more confident that Cody is going to, A, win Night 1, B, pin Roman Reigns and beat him because every single step of the way, Roman Reigns has had the Bloodline by his side. They've helped him win match after match. And like I've always said, that once Roman Reigns loses the title, he's going to be by himself and no one else is going to interfere or get involved. So we haven't had that much drama in a while in the Bloodline story, and that's why I think we need to at least get some sort of major development in the story, and that's why I think that the Bloodline needs to turn on Roman Reigns. The second thing that I think needs to happen at WrestleMania is that Jimmy needs to beat Jay. Now, hear me out. I know, main event Jey Uso, we all love him. We all know that he's proven himself to be one hell of a solo wrestler. However, I think that this feud and this story is long overdue. Many teams, many factions have all feuded with each other, but the Usos have held out for as long as they possibly can without feuding with each other. We've seen so many tag teams go their separate ways, and then one turns on the other turns on one, and then they just have a feud. The Usos held out for as long as they can, but every good tag team must feud with each other at least once, it seems like. And so I think that Jimmy needs to beat Jay because I think that we are going to get a long feud, and I think the feud is going to come to an end at WrestleMania. So if Jay beats Jimmy in their first match, it feels like the feud is just going to be done. Like, how are they going to keep feuding with each other? How are we going to get more matches if Jay beats Jimmy? That's why I think Jimmy is going to beat Jay because it makes more sense. It helps prolong the story. And like I said, I feel like this is going to go up until SummerSlam. And I think that they're going to get that embrace because we're going to get the Usos back together. I think at the end of their feud, I think the feud could end with like a Bloodline Rules match, no disqualification at SummerSlam. And then I think their dad could kind of come in, enough is enough, you're brothers, damn it, now hug it out. And then at the end of their match, at the end of their final match of the feud, we get that hug, the crowd goes crazy. But I think in order for all of that to happen, I think that Jimmy needs to beat Jay, especially because Jay has already proven himself to be a good solo wrestler. I think it's time for Jimmy to prove that he can go out and he can have success on his own. I know he's been on his own for a while, but he hasn't had that much success in terms of winning matches like we've seen with Jay. So I think it's very important that they need to establish Jimmy Uso as a threat and as a solo threat for Jay Uso, which is why Jimmy needs to win this first match so we can prolong this brother feud. And the third and final thing that needs to happen is they need to introduce new tag titles, or at least just address the situation. I feel like I've probably said this before with different premium live events, but the tag title situation is kind of like, it's a mess. It's honestly a mess. Judgment Day holding both titles. The two titles have been unified for a while. I want to say it was the Usos who unified them back when they were the longest reigning tag champs, I believe, of all time. I could be wrong. But they need to at least address the situation. We're getting the ladder match at WrestleMania, which is great, which we also predicted. But I think that they need to, at least maybe introduce new designs so that, like, hey, heading into WrestleMania Night 1, here are the titles that everyone's going to be fighting for, and they're going to get a new set. And then they also just need to have another set because they have enough tag teams both on Raw and on SmackDown to have two separate sets of tag titles. Now, a little while ago, it felt like they didn't have that many tag teams where they felt like they could compete for a title. So to me, it made sense for them to just have one set and have them just go on both shows. But now you've got a lot of really good tag teams. Plus, you have a ton of other tag teams coming up from NXT that they can easily hold two tag titles for Raw and for SmackDown. And if they've shown us anything with the new World Heavyweight Championship, it's that they can at least design a decent looking title. The World Heavyweight Championship is the best looking title in WWE. If you include NXT, I think the North American title is a better looking title, but I digress. They have the ability to design good looking titles, so they're starting to earn back my trust a little bit with designing titles that look good, because it was lost for a while. But I think since Triple H is sort of at the head of creative now, and they've got Endeavor, I think that they can make a good looking title. So I fully trust WWE to not even just make one good looking set, but they have to make two good looking titles. They need to ditch the color straps. I get why they did it for Raw and for SmackDown. I think they could probably just stick with like the black straps color. So that's why I just think they need to address this at the very least. At least they need to address this. And at WrestleMania, if you ask me, they should have new designed titles, at least one new set for all of the 6 tag teams to fight for in the ladder match. And then on the Monday Night Raw after that, they can introduce a new set of tag titles, and then, or on SmackDown, whichever team wins it and whichever brand wins those titles, have the opposite brands debut new tag titles, and they could potentially do a tournament to crown the new champions for whatever brand isn't holding the tag team titles. But I think, they need to introduce new tag titles, or at the very least, address the situation. All right, so that was 3 things that need to happen at WrestleMania. You let me know in the comments down below, what is something that you think needs to happen at WrestleMania, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell in the corner so you get notified every single time that we release a new video. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get us there, so make sure to smash that subscribe button. With that being said, I'll catch you in the next video.